Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. The narrow gravel road curved gently away from the fishing village of King Cove, Alaska, its surface still damp from the night's lingering mist. The morning air carried the tang of salt from the Bering Sea, and gulls cried overhead as they wheeled around the harbor. A young boy trotted a few steps behind his mother and little sister. His boots crunched lightly in the pebbles as he glanced at the wildflowers spilling into the ditch. In that stillness of early light, when the fog clings to the hillsides and the town is only beginning to stir, few would expect danger to be lurking nearby. But behind a patch of low alder brush, a young brown bear shifted its weight, eyes fixed on the small figure, walking just far enough behind to be vulnerable. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. King Cove lies tucked in the southern edge of the Alaska Peninsula, a region shaped by volcanic peaks, broad bays, and the ever-changing North Pacific. The climate here is cool, maritime, and often wet, with fog rolling ashore even in summer. The surrounding landscape holds thick stands of Sitka spruce, pockets of black cottonwood, and scattered mountain hemlock. Closer to the ground grow hardy shrubs like Labrador tea, alder, and willow. And when summer peaks, berry bushes offer their harvest, tart salmonberries, sweet blueberries, and tasty crowberries that stain the fingers of children and foragers alike. The animals that move through this peninsula are as iconic as the land itself. Moose browse the willow thickets, caribou migrate across open tundra, and Sitka black-tailed deer pick their way through the forest edges. Predators are equally at home. Wolves slip quietly along the ridgelines. Wolverines scavenge along rivers. And the great brown bears, masters of this peninsula, feed on salmon runs and whatever else they can claim. In such a place, where the balance between people and wildlife has always been delicate, encounters are inevitable. On the morning of July 10, 1992, 6-year-old Antone bear followed his mother, whom we will call Jane, and 3-year-old sister along the gravel road outside King Cove. The family was on foot, making their way in the quiet of early morning, probably to take the kids to daycare so Jane could go to work. Antone was born in False Pass, about 47 miles to the west of town. Each settlement is a fishing community defined by fishing boats, subsistence harvest, and the closeness of extended family. Like most children in King Cove, he knew the wilderness was never far away, though at that age the dangers were still abstractions rather than lived fears. On this day, or any, in all likelihood, Jane carried no bear spray or firearm. His mother was unarmed, guiding her 2 children through what she must have thought was a safe stretch of road. They had no dog trotting at their side to raise an alarm. The gravel crunched under their boots as they moved forward, unaware that a young bear had noticed them from the brush along the road. The Alaska Peninsula has long been a stronghold of the brown bear, and for decades, subsistence hunters and commercial fishermen in King Cove often spoke of bears seen near the town dump, where refuse provided easy meals. Wildlife officials repeatedly urged residents to secure garbage and avoid leaving fish waste exposed. Yet in communities where subsistence and fishing remained central, attractants were difficult to eliminate completely. By the mid-20th century, biologists and residents alike noted that bears were increasingly associating human settlements with food. The easy pickings near the people brought the bears right into the outskirts of town often, and the danger that comes with this proximity. Environmental pressures also shaped bear behavior. That summer, salmon runs in central streams were lower than expected, and biologists speculated that hungry bears turned more boldly toward human settlements. The family's walk began quietly enough. Fog drifted over the low hills, and Jane led her 2 children along the road, perhaps toward a relative's house, or a daily errand. Antone lagged just a step behind, as children do when distracted by new sights or flowers. As the small family sleepily stumbled into the start of their morning, there was no way they could know that a very interested brown bear had noticed their twilight journey. From the brush alongside the road, the young bear noted a vulnerability in the last member of the party. Antone had caught the bear's interest, and its predatory instincts switched on for some reason. The bear lowered its head, ears forward, and bounded toward the child. The snapping of branches and popping of timber alerted the family, and they reacted with fear. Jane screamed and tried to pull her children close. She and the young daughter bolted forward, instinctively running. Antone, caught in the bear's focus, was overtaken within seconds. Torn between the conflict of defending her child and saving the one in her arms, Jane was frozen, unsure of what reaction to take. The little boy was no match for the bear, as it knocked him to the ground and quickly proceeded to drag him away. Jane could do nothing to stop the bear, as it dragged Antone into the brush. Jane's sullen cries did not go unheard, as residents and workers began to gather near her. Some carried their trade tools, while others ran toward the scene without anything at all. Jane struggled to explain what had happened, but eventually stammered out that a brown bear had snatched her son. Report of Antone's disappearance set King Cove abuzz with activity. The men formed a hunting party and set out on the bear's trail, brandishing high-powered hunting rifles. They followed the bear's tracks as well as the drag trail left by Antone's body. After carefully stalking the bear, they observed it hunkered over the boy's corpse. It was eating a portion of him as they raised their rifles. With a resounding rifle clap, the brown bear's predatory attack on Antone bear ended. The bear was a young brown bear, later examined and found to be in fair health, though clearly conditioned to human garbage. Authorities believe the proximity of the town dump and the ease of scavenging had lowered its fear of people. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game emphasized afterward that garbage management was critical. Bears habituated to trash were more dangerous to humans, especially children. As for the bear's motives in this attack, it is clear that predation played a primary role. This was not a bear defending a carcass or a mother protecting cubs, but rather a young animal emboldened by unnatural food sources. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon linked below will give you ad-free early access to episodes, photos, and notes. And the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. Alaska holds one of the world's largest brown bear populations, estimated at roughly 30 to 35,000 animals, spread across an expanse of nearly 570,000 square miles. That works out to be about one bear for every 16 square miles of land, though densities vary greatly. On the Alaska Peninsula, numbers are among the highest recorded, with several bears per square mile during peak salmon runs. Fatal bear attacks remain rare when measured against the scale of human activity in Alaska. From 1900 through the early 1990s, fewer than 30 confirmed deaths occurred statewide. Yet when 2 deaths happen within the span of 1 week, as they did in July of 1992, the effect on public perception is profound. Residents of King Cove found themselves living with both the statistical rarity of such an event and the searing immediacy of its reality. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Should remote villages and towns like King Cove utilize hazing programs to frighten bears away from the fringes of civilization? Could better waste management and stricter control of attractants have prevented the tragedy? Would a dog, bear spray, or a firearm change the outcome of this attack? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We've slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.